1 skin, 2 skin, 3 skin. What is up guys, Ashbfc here bringing my review for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So this was a game I was super excited for. I know there was a lot of people that were disappointed when it was first revealed that Retro Studios' next game was going to be a Donkey Kong Country, not a Metroid. But as much as I do love Metroid, I just love Donkey Kong Country more, so yeah, I was super happy to see there was going to be another Donkey Kong Country game. I got so many fond memories playing the original 3 games on the Super Nintendo back in the day as a kid, which Rare gave us. So I was so happy when they finally brought it back, and I thought Retro Studios did a great job with Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii. So like I said, I was super psyched for this game, and I had some pretty high expectations. And I can happily say this game exceeded my expectations, because this game is amazing. So the game continues the classic Donkey Kong Country formula, being a side-scrolling 2D platformer, and a freaking hard one at that. For the most part, it does play very similar to Donkey Kong Country Returns, with a few new changes, additions and improvements. The most obvious being Dixie returning as a playable character, and as well for the first time in the series, Cranky being a playable character. And each Kong has their own unique ability. For instance, Diddy Kong has a jetpack that can be used to hover over large gaps or even harmful surfaces or objects. Dixie Kong uses a hair to briefly hover and shoot upwards, giving you access to higher areas. And Cranky Kong has a cane bouncing ability very similar to what Scrooge McDuck had in DuckTales, which allows him to bounce on what would normally be harmful surfaces such as thorns or spikes, and it can even be used to take out some enemies that none of the other Kongs can. So as usual with Donkey Kong, there's not really much of a story, but hey, he doesn't need one. The enemies this time around are known as the Snowmads, and they are Viking themed creatures, and they're pretty cool. So they invade Kong Island on their little Viking ships, and they basically blast the Kongs off the island, take it over and freeze it. Hence the name Tropical Freeze. And the Kongs have to make their way back, going through different islands and taking care of the Snowmads along the way, and reclaiming Donkey Kong Island. So graphically the game looks great, even if it is 2D. There's a whole lot of attention to detail, and there's all sorts going on in the backgrounds, and you know, overall it just looks really nice. And of course this time around it's HD for the first time in the Donkey Kong Country series, so good job catching up, Nintendo. Now the game does actually have some brief 3D sections, mostly appearing during the barrel firing sequences as well as some of the area transitions, and they look pretty cool. As for the controls, they feel great. In fact, they feel pretty much perfect. You know, jumping feels awesome, not too light, not too heavy. They're just pretty much spot on, really. And I think, you know, controls, especially in a 2D platformer, are very important. I mean, you know, bad controls can easily ruin the game. I mean, there is nothing worse than dying again and again, thanks to crappy controls. But no worries there with that, yeah. The controls, they're pretty much spot on. Now, I'd say the most important aspect of any 2D platformer is, of course, the level designs. And Retro absolutely nailed it in this game. I kid you not, every single level in this game is an absolute ton of fun. So there's a lot of variation, a lot of different cool themes to some of the levels. I mean, we've got levels with ice, we've got levels with fire, we've even got levels with tornadoes going on, storms with lightning firing down, we've got levels up in the mountains, we even got fruit themed levels with giant fruit all over the place. A fat kid's worst nightmare. The classic minecart levels are back and they are better than ever. They're actually some of my favourites. I absolutely loved the minecart levels, they're just chaotic. The rocket levels are back, and yes, they're still freaking hard. There is some slow-paced levels, but we also got the crazy fast levels as well, where everything's just collapsing, you got to keep moving, and you got to get those jumps right, and they're all sorts of fun. The water levels are also back, which were absent from Donkey Kong Country Returns, and they're an absolute blast, and I was really happy to see those come back. Just every single level is so well designed, very creative, and just an absolute blast. And sticking with Donkey Kong Country tradition, the game is crazy hard. Seriously. Like we've seen in previous Donkey Kong Country games, there are Kong levels to collect in each level, as well as the puzzle pieces which we saw in Donkey Kong Country Returns. And it's hard enough just reaching the end of most levels, but if you want to go for these collectibles, they're going to drive you insane. A lot of the puzzle pieces are just really hard to find because they're so well hidden, and others just require some serious mad skills. I nearly died of frustration multiple times playing this game trying to go for the damn collectibles. Seriously. And yes, the evil temple missions are back and they're just as hard as ever. You gotta go all the way through them, no checkpoints, and they require some serious platforming skill. These will most likely give you a heart attack. As for the boss fights, they're awesome too. None of this 3 hits crap, proper boss fights, and yes, they're really hard. Each boss fight consists of 3 different phases where it will switch up its attack and routine with each one, and each one getting harder. No checkpoints. If you die, you start all over again, and I like that because boss fights are meant to be hard. There's plenty of other cool features too. Funky's back, he runs a shop where you can buy items to assist you during the levels. There's also a new pluck mechanic which works very similar to that in Super Mario Bros. 2. Usually they'll contain items such as health, and sometimes even the puzzle pieces themselves. Also we got Rambi back as well as a rideable animal buddy. You know, there's just so much awesomeness with this game, but do you want to know what the icing is on the already amazing cake? The music. Oh god, the music. Wow. So yeah, they brought back David Wise to compose, and he did compose the original 3 Donkey Kong Country games, which had some of the best music I've ever heard in video games. So we got classics such as Cave Dwellers Concert, Sticker Brush Symphony, Lockjaw Saga, Aquatic Ambience, Fear Factory, Gangplank Galleon, Forest Interlude, and all sorts of amazing other tracks. And I'm completely serious when I tell you this may be his best work yet. He may have even topped his work in Donkey Kong Country 2, which is something I thought to be impossible. The soundtrack is absolutely outstanding. Every single track is incredible. David Wise is a musical genius. Every track just fits so perfect with every level, whether it be an ice level or a fire level or a fast-paced epic level or a crazy level, they just fit so perfect. And the cool thing is he has actually remixed some of his old classics such as Aquatic Ambience. That was amazing to hear that again. There's even a brief remix of Sticker Brush Symphony, one of the fan favourites, as well as a few others, which was just, you know, such a blast of nostalgia, and that was amazing. But for the most part it is completely brand new stuff, and like I said, it's absolutely incredible. In fact, the Snowman's theme is actually one of my favourite themes in the entire Donkey Kong Country series. I absolutely love it. It truly is one of the best video game soundtracks I have ever heard. David Wise is an absolute legend, and I consider him to be the greatest video game composer of all time. And the cool thing is, most of the music is unlockable in the game, so you can listen to it whenever you want. But please Nintendo, please release the official soundtrack on Club Nintendo and actually have something worth buying with my damn points. So I probably need to stop now, otherwise I'll harp on all day about how incredible the music is. I struggled to find anything really negative to say about this game. I suppose I would have liked to see more animal buddies. Rambi is the only one. I thought it would have been nice to see Engard, considering the water levels came back. And maybe just some new ones by Retro. But yeah, it's just Rambi, and he's not in it a whole lot. There's just like maybe 2 or 3 different sections where you get to use him. I would have liked to see more. One of the things I did find a little bit odd, though a bit weird, was the fact that you can't actually control the individual Kongs other than Donkey unless you're playing in hard mode. That did seem a little bit weird to me, because yeah, for the most part you do just control Donkey with the other character on his back, but if you want to play as either Cranky or Dixie or Diddy individually, you have to play hard mode, and that just seemed a bit of a weird thing to go with on that, because I imagine a lot of people don't want to play hard mode, because normal mode is pretty much hard mode. In fact, normal mode is extreme, hard mode is just mental. And yeah, that was a bit weird, because I mean, on the ones on the Super Nintendo you could switch between the characters whenever you wanted, you know, did the old tag or like whatever, and that did seem a little bit weird, so yeah, I'm not sure why they did that. But all the negatives are such minor things. Just overall, the game was absolutely amazing, from the level design to the boss fights, the controls, the music, the challenge it gives you, and it stayed very true to the Donkey Kong series, and it did feel very old school in its ways. And the game just reinforced my opinion that Retro Studios are one of the greatest developers going right now. I highly recommend this game to any Donkey Kong Country fans. If you enjoy Returns, or if you enjoyed the classics back on the Super Nintendo, you gotta get this game. And just to platform fans in general. You know, it's these sort of awesome exclusives that made me love Nintendo as a kid. And it's these sort of exclusives that can make me love Nintendo again, something that's kind of hard to do nowadays. It just sucks that this game isn't really going to sell as well as it should do, or well at all for that matter, considering how very few people have a Wii U, so well done Nintendo. But yeah, incredible game. There's my Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze review. Thanks for watching guys, see you next time.